Hey there. Today is a very, very cool day because today I'm making baguettes. Yeah. And oh, by the way, my new favorite band. And in spirit of this brand new favorite band, we are going to have a little genocide today. Yes, a Fleischmann's genocide. We're making baguettes. And this is the baguette dough. Now, if you want to see how I made the baguette dough, you're going to have to travel back into the past. Welcome back to the past. If you're watching me right now, that means you came from the future, but you're back into the past to see me make the dough for the baguettes that I'm making in the future. Do you understand? Excellent. Cool. So, before we begin, let me mention that this is my favorite band. Yeah, I have reasons. So I've been watching this guy on YouTube. His name is Richard Bertinet, and he makes these baguettes in a Gosney wood-fired oven. And the guy's a pro. He's fantastic. Now I've been baking for many, many years, except here's the difference. I bake as a hobby. I'll bake once a week, once every 2 weeks, something like that. I'm going to do a few loaves. I'm not doing hundreds of loaves every day like a professional baker, but I'm getting better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take his baguette recipe, cut it in half, because I don't want to make 10 to 12 baguettes. I mean, I like my neighbors, but not that much. And it's just the two of us in the house. So I have, instead of 1,000 grams of flour, I have 500. I've got, instead of 700 grams of water, which is at 80 degrees, by the way, I've got 350 grams. I've got 10 grams of salt and 5 grams of instant yeast. Here's the other thing. I'm going to deviate a lot, okay? When he does it on his video, he uses a mixer. I'm not using a mixer. So I'm going to change the order of things. I'm going to start with the water, and I'm going to dissolve the salt. And the way he does it, and I understand why he does it that way, when you introduce salt later in the dough, it has a different effect. But because I'm not using a mixer, it's harder to make sure that the salt gets incorporated correctly and evenly. But by dissolving all of the salt in the water now, like this, I'm guaranteed that it's perfectly even. You got me? Okay. And now I'm going to add in the yeast, right? Because that's fully dissolved. That's 10 grams of sea salt, by the way, not kosher salt, sea salt. So it's a finer crystal. It dissolves faster. I'm going to throw in my yeast, right? And now I'm going to add my flour. And then I'm going to knead it the way I would knead any other dough, a pizza dough, whatever. The idea here is I don't want to break out the mixer. I just don't want to. And you could do, I mean, long before there were mixers, they did this stuff by hand, of course, right? So I'm just going to mix this up. And oh, by the way, this is a 70% hydration, right? Because if it was 1,000 grams of flour, it would be 700 grams of water, right? So it is a 70% hydration, all right? So what I'm going to do is get this out to a mass, knead it a little bit, and then I'm going to let it rest, and then I'm going to do a couple of slap and folds, but I'm not going to work it too hard, and then I'm going to sit it in the fridge overnight, and then tomorrow is when we're going to make our baguettes. Again, I don't want to work it too much, but I do need to get it to form a nice, smooth dough. So let's just get that going. And it's going to get sticky. Even though it looks a little bit dry right now, as I work it, it's going to get a little bit sticky. And that's fine. It's supposed to be. It's a 70% hydration. We're good with that. And oh, by the way, I'm doing this. See, it's not a real big piece of dough. Like I said, I'm going to do 4 baguettes. And I'm not going to do huge baguettes, right? He does in his video, they're 150 grams each. I'm going to do, depending on the weight of this dough, my baguettes are going to be about 200 grams each, somewhere in that neighborhood. So not much bigger than his. But the reason why I want to do 4 baguettes is because I can comfortably get 4 of them into the oven at one time, and then I'm done. All right. Get my scraper. See how it's getting sticky? That's fine. That's good, actually. Okay. So I'm going to let it rest for a minute or two, maybe 15 minutes. Then I'm going to do a couple of slap and folds, and then we're going to let it do a very little bulk rise, and then into the fridge it goes overnight. See, it looks nice already, right? It looks nice. So what I want is a nice smooth dough. And we're going to have a smooth dough very shortly. All right, let me put a damp towel over that. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes. It feels wonderful. Oh yeah, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. I'm just going to fold it on itself. That's beautiful, huh? That is a beautiful, supple piece of dough. You know, I really love watching that guy, Richard Bertinet. And he's a pro, man. He's a pro. But even the way he like throws the flour, like, you know, I can't throw the flour the way he throws the flour. You guy's amazing. Anyhow, I'm just going to throw this in here. And we're going to let this bulk rise for a couple of hours, room temperature, and then into the fridge it goes. But for right now, we are still in the future. And what I'm going to do is sprinkle a tiny bit of flour on the work surface and a tiny bit there. And I want to gently let this dough just fall out. Hold on, let me get a scraper. Okay, so I didn't let it ferment in a bowl, which maybe would have been smarter, but the bowl took a lot of real estate in the fridge, and I didn't have that real estate. So that's why I used this. So I'm very gently just letting it come out all on its own. I'm just detaching it from the side. Okay, so now what I want you to see is, see, that's the top, right? And this is what was underneath. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring the camera in closer. You don't need to see my beautiful face anymore. And we're going to roll out 4 baguettes. All right, well, we're doing a few things here right now. We're lighting the fire so I can make baguettes later. It's going to take about 2 hours to get this oven hot, maybe an hour and a half. I'm also testing my noise-canceling microphone. Let's see if we can't hear all the ambient noise out here in the yard. Now, unlike everybody else, I am going to use just a match to light my brick oven. Ready? Let's go zoom inside. Let's go a little lower. Zoom inside, and let's get in there. Okay, let's see how this works. Basically, I have a couple of layers of wood, then I have some kindling, then I have some bigger wood, right? And I've got some newspaper in there. In the way back, which you can't see right now, I've got my andiron, and I've got a couple of logs resting on it for later. What's going to happen is as this fire builds, it's going to warm up the log in the back so it'll ignite faster. I've got plenty of wood, so we're going to be just fine. Let's see how long it takes for this puppy to light. Oh, it looks nice, right? Doesn't that look nice? Let's zoom out a bit. Oh yeah, zoom out all the way. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to stop it for right now. We'll check in a few minutes. And oh, what time is it right now? I don't know what time it is. But as soon as I stop the video, I'll check the time, and then we'll see how long it takes for this thing to get to temperature. Okay, so I'm going to push this closer to being in frame. All right, you see the bottom part here is a little bit sticky, but this is the top, okay? And I'm going to make 4 baguettes. So I'm hoping that I divide it fairly precisely. And if I don't, they should be about 210 grams each. Okay, let's try it. 215, 230, 203, 191. All right. 210, perfect. 208, 211, what do we got here? 211, and what do we got here? 209, perfect. Okay, we're perfect. Good. So let's try my hand at shaping these baguettes. Let me get the scale out of the way. Okay, I just want a tiny bit of flour on my surface, right? And here's my first baguette. Get this out of the way. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is form kind of a rectangle. Okay, this is the top. Okay, and what I'm going to do is fold this into the spine like this, turn it, fold this side into the spine, and then I'm going to take this side here, and fold it over this side and meet the seam. You ready? Okay, let's see. I'm going to use my thumb, bring it around, and seal it. Bring it around, seal it. Bring it around, seal it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on the other side so you can see actually what I'm doing with my hands, because right now what I've done is obscured from the camera. The next one I do, I'm going to do it from the other side. So I'm going to bring the camera around this way so you can see what I'm doing, right? And then I'm going to roll out my baguette. So I've got, well, it's a little bit thick in the middle, but that looks pretty good, kinda. All right, better, right? I don't want too much flour, all right? And I really want to start out with more of a rectangle, okay? Yeah, that works. Let's zoom in a bit. Okay, so put these aside. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is create a spine in the middle, right? Okay, and then I'm going to take this top part and fold it into the spine. Turn it around, take this top part and fold it into the spine. Okay, and now, so See, it's a little bit thinner on this side than on this side, but I think we can work with that. Okay. I'm a lefty though. Well, you know what? I'm going to try to do it right-handed. So I'm going to take my thumb, press it in here, and pull that over. Press. You see what I'm doing? Right? So I made a seam by bringing it over. Okay? And now I'm going to roll it out. And we have our nice pointy baguette. And then I need to put it on the couch, which is where the camera is resting. Let's move the camera again. Okay. Let's try it again. Okay. I've got my baguette. I'm going to make a spine in the middle. Take the top part, hold it into the spine, turn it around, take the top part, fold it into the spine, and then take this part and fold it here. So I'm gonna there we go. Okay, and now let's try to roll it out. Not bad. Well, we'll see. We will see when we bake them. A little bit more flour there. All right, one last. Here we go. Make my spine. Fold the top part into the spine. Turn it around. Fold the top part into the spine. And then make my seam, and then roll them out. Okay, so what you see before you is actually the baguettes, though they look like fish, don't they? So I think I did this a little bit poorly. This was a poor design, but I'm going to roll this first one out of the couche and onto a transfer peel, okay? And I have two of these transfer peels. Well, let's just roll it out. There you go. Okay. And where's my seam? That looks like the seam. Let's turn it over. Okay. So I think I'm going to do 2 baguettes at a time in the oven because I am not experienced enough to do this. So let's take my lamb, right? And I'm going to just put some cuts. Cool. And now we're going to take these first 2 outside. Okay, so I repositioned the fire so that it's all in the back. The oven's really nice and hot. And when that dies down just a bit in its embers, I'm going to clean off the floor, and then we're going to place our baguettes. I don't know if I'm going to do all 4 at once. I might do 2 at a time. I don't know yet. Okay, so what you see here is I've got the insulated door partially on because I want to keep as much heat in there as possible. And I've got a cast iron skillet inside there, which I'm going to put some ice and water inside to create my steam. Let me go get those baguettes. Okay, so let's take this door out of here, put it down. I'm going to get my cast iron skillet, which is going to be blazingly hot. You know what? Let's grab it this way. Okay. I'm going to put some ice in there. A nice ice cube and some water. That should generate some steam. Okay. And now this is the tricky part. I have never done this before, and I should have put a little semolina on my transfer peel. I did not. Oh, yeah, see, I turned it over by mistake. Okay, I think we're okay, though. I think we're going to be okay. Yeah, see, I'm not good at this yet. This is going to take some practice. But you know what? I think I got them lined up. Okay. Let's get a look in there. All right, now I'm going to put the door on, and hopefully that's going to make some steam for me. Okay, my first two came out, and listen. Right, we got a nice crunch. They puffed up nicely. I think they look pretty damn good. So I've been slicing a baguette this way, and oh my God, they're so good.